I first say I don't mean to be too offensive to people who like slash fan fiction, where they turn characters gay or lesbian for no apparent reason, or swap their sexual orientation for something. Um, you have a right to enjoy that fan fiction too, but you have to admit some of it can get really creepy. Like it's not that I hate all that stuff, and I don't hate the people who do it, and I don't hate people who don't like. Or I don't hate people who like homosexual stuff, but yeah, that is a bit weird. Yeah. But it's also against canon. Canon can lose if your story completely, utterly violates canon and does pairings that are improbable, like two people getting fall in love who clearly in the show hate each other. You're not gonna get too many positive marks for that. So I'll just proceed with the rest of the video. I'll just say one quick note. All I write is Futurama fan fiction, no other show or anything. Alright, as a fan fiction writer, I'm going to talk about it. I'm one of those weirdos that does that sort of thing. Right. Fan fiction can be good. It can bring new boundaries and explore certain areas that the show didn't, and alternate scenarios and what if scenarios and etc. Although it is clearly right, the majority of fan fiction out there is terrible. And I mean terrible. Like most of the fan fiction, there was not much. Well, it's not that there wasn't much effort put into it. It's just mostly the exact same thing. All about heterosexual characters turning gay all of a sudden, homosexual, or other way around, like, or weird stuff like, ugh. I don't mean to be mean to fangirls, but some of the stuff I've seen from they've betrayed of fandoms is creepy as hell. All this cloning stuff, and I've seen fan arts of stuff where people make out with themselves. A character, like, I don't know, some character makes out with himself and is in relationship with himself because he made a clone of himself. How disturbing is that? It's like I'm going back. I go back in time 2 times to make a paradox of myself and fall in love with it. Doesn't make much sense at all. But anyway, fan fiction can break many boundaries, and sometimes just super crazy, super random fan fiction can be funny too. I've been known to do a lot of that. Although I have done a few serious fan fiction with humor mixed in with it too. But anyway, fan fiction can break new boundaries and can explore new areas in the fandom. The more fanatical fans of a show, such as Futurama, there's lots of things to explore. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. What if, for example, what if, although it would be completely obvious how she'd probably react if she found out, what if Leela saw Fry's love note during the time skips? What would her reaction be? I believe we'd all know, but that's just the sake of it. The fact that you've thought about that, but you write into a story of what her reaction would be if she found out or saw it later on or something, due to TV footage or something, CCTV. But fan fiction can explore all sorts of alternate scenarios. You know, you can AU and universe jump and really screw things with the space time continuum with fan fiction. You alright, original writing is always better. Well, in a lot of cases, but just don't immediately dismiss fan fiction because it's not exactly the most original thing. Because they can look into more detail, and sometimes there are certain things in fan fiction that are just too good to be on TV. But yeah, most fan fiction you find out is just really creepy, weird fan fiction. No, I don't mind romance. And I don't mean to be some sort of backward race, well, not backward, ignorant person who hates homosexuals. I don't hate them as such at all. But I'm not going to be reading a homosexual love novel. You know, it's just going to creep me out. But that doesn't mean I hate gay people. Like, but people writing all these weird, creepy fan fiction. Oh my God, they're, why did I say God? I don't really even believe in him, really. You know, him or her. But the thing is, all these really creepy fan fictions, they're scary. God. And again, like, what's the point? It's been done a billion times before. Alright, I can be repetitive at times. Like, in my fan fiction, I use UJ Bender a lot. I throw him in loads of places, like. But still, this is just beyond. It's creepy as hell. Like, so fan fiction can break new boundaries, and you can come up with, it, like, there's like so much fun you can do. Like I even written a story called "The Three Little Bending Units." Think of that as a parody of, or Bender and the Beanstalk. Like, there's so much like things you can explore. But yeah, but it is right. I don't care if I get a billion dislikes for this video, but fanfiction is good. It's just that most of it is crap. You see, you have to dig down deep, and you can find some actual worthwhile reading stuff. You know, not all of it is romance trashy stuff. Some of it's tragedy. Some of it's just plain insanity and fun. Some of it's kind of mixed between romance, but not doesn't really focus on it. Like, there is so much out there. Ugh. And just because it's not original, don't dismiss it. Alright, in this part of the video, you don't have to really watch this or listen to this part of the video. I will explore possible other scenarios that could happen. Say, for example, in the Lord of the Rings universe, the Fellowship had failed, Frodo was captured, and he was taken to Balador, and then he was killed, and the One Ring was reclaimed to Sauron. And with the One Ring, Sauron regained his physical form and gained dark powers and massed a great army, far greater than what that was seen in the third movie. And his army marched across the land. Minas Tirith was invaded. Every man, woman, and child was slaughtered by Sauron's horde, him leading it. His army spreads even further west into Rohan, and some of his army goes into the north to wipe out the men of Dale and the dwarves of the Lonely Mountain, and also another wave of forces going into Lothlorien and finishing off the elves and Mirkwood. Anyway, back to Rohan. As the forces march across Rohan, they murder and kill everyone in their sight, burning and pillaging, killing every man, woman, and child in the villages. Edoras burns. The army continues to march and meets with Isengard, the remainder of Isengard, if Isengard was destroyed at this point. Anyway, along with the masses of Saruman and Sauron, the Uruk-hai, with the trolls and all of the armies of Mordor, march into Eriador. In Eriador, they pillage, burn, and kill every little small village as they go along. They lay siege to Rivendell, and eventually win and wipe out and kill every last man, woman, and child in Rivendell. And then the army marches even further into Eriador, where they come across Bree and set it ablazing and kill everyone in it and burn all the villages down. And then they march into the Shire, where they make slaves out of the hobbits, using them as food, like cattle, and such, eating them. But then, when Sauron has complete dominion and control over Middle-earth, he gathers his armies, burns all the forests down, well, most of them, all that can be found, rather generate his industry, his orcs numbering in the millions at this point, his army massing. He had plans to launch an attack on Arnor if he gets strong enough. Wait, sorry, Numenor. And then I think that's the same place where the Valar live. Attack the Valar himself and declare himself as God. Sauron would declare it. His overwhelming horde, if he beats the Valar, takes over Arnor. And then Sauron's complete domination of all of Middle Earth and beyond is complete. Another scenario is like for another series like Star Wars. What if Anakin Skywalker in the third movie managed not to turn to the dark side and kill Palpatine? That would just resolve the story straight away, and all the other events, the other movies wouldn't happen. But that would kind of ruin the story. But that's just for an example. In a parallel universe, something like that could have happened. That's just an example. Like as Fry lead the shippers, right? If there were certain events, if certain things were different at during some of the episodes, they may well have gotten together then and there. Like for an example, in Love and Rocket, if Zoidberg hadn't come up the stairs at the end of that near the end of that episode, when Fry and Leela were at the balcony having a romantic moment, like where Fry with his hand on Leela's hand, if Zoidberg was interrupted or simply did not come up the stairs, Fry and Leela could have bonded their emotions there, and possibly have went on a date, started dating the next episode. But the anti-shippers have to be happy too, so they decided against it. Just a little nod to the Fry and Leela shippers, that I think that was. But that's just an example. Like, there's loads of little funny things you can do. Like, for example, like let me think. A guy who uses the time machine really screws up the space-time continuum, causing the entire universe to be destroyed. Like again, like for example, for loads of stories like if Fried and they hadn't come to the future, which is already done, which caused the brain spawn to win. Like there's loads of little things like here's another crazy one. If the scammers in Bender's Big Score, the green pink aliens, nudist aliens, were killed by some time traveling entity, say like Bender or some other guy from another universe, killed them before Lars was created. Lars wouldn't exist because Fry would probably have no reason to go back in time using the time paradox code, because he probably wouldn't even known about it from the beginning. So that's just another example. But also probably cause Lars to fade away before he dies. Like, there's loads of other things, like oh man, my head. Oh, what if Bender was a giant? What if he was made out of chewing gum? What if he was a bubble wrapper? What if life was more like Pokemon? Well, like, there's loads of them. What if life was more like Pokemon? What if life was more like video games? What if life was more like an Japanese animation? What if life was more like cooking bacon and eggs? What if life was like more like Yu-Gi-Oh or something? Maybe. Anyway, what if scenarios are great. So you can there's almost endless possibilities. So I think I'm almost done ranting here, but fan fiction can be done for good emotional things too, like, but not many. Well, there's a lot of people are into that, but like, it can just loads of funny scenarios that can happen with fan fiction. So I think I'll just stop talking now, and I'll bid you goodbye.